Hi everyone, I'm here with this week's happiness strategy. And this week the theme is all around believing in yourself and more importantly, how life transforms when we do believe in ourselves. I think it's so easy for us to believe in ourselves and believe in who we are when everything in life is going smooth and turning out the way that we had hoped and planned that it would. And it can be a much different story when there are obstacles in the road and challenges that show up, and life isn't turning out the way that we had hoped or expected or planned it would at all. Sometimes life can become unbearably hard. And these are the times when being connected to ourselves and believing in ourselves become the most important. And yet, sometimes these are the times when we begin to question ourselves and we question our worth. And so this week I wanted to offer a few practices that I use to believe in myself when it feels hard to do so, when there are, added challenges and obstacles happening around me. I know all throughout my life there have been times when I've been more connected and I've believed in myself, and there have been times when I've been completely disconnected and have turned my back on myself. And what I've noticed and learned over time is that when I do have that strong connection with myself and when I do believe in myself, life does transform in a much different way. It becomes easier for me to see that life is a gift, and that, even though things aren't always going to be easy and that there are going to be challenges, that being alive and getting to be here is the ultimate gift at the end of the day. And so I just wanted to offer some of these practices out, and just the idea that, believing in ourselves, of course, isn't going to remove the obstacles and challenges and things that are, not within our control. It's not going to, erase those things or take them out of our lives. But when we do believe in ourselves and when we are connected to who we are, it helps us to move through the challenges with a bit more ease and grace. And it also helps us to offer ourselves a bit more compassion and not be quite so hard on ourselves. When we're going through challenging times, this is the last thing in the world we need, is to beat up on ourselves or to turn our back on ourselves. And so, I totally get that, and I've been there, and so I really have, over time, I have these practices that I turn to when I feel myself begin to question myself, or when challenges come up and maybe I want to just give up, to really just believe in who I am and to see who I am and to know how strong I am and how I can make it through. And so I just wanted to offer these out as some practices and maybe some tips and, invitations to try on, the next time that you find yourself really questioning yourself and maybe you need just a few extra little tips or strategies to really tap into believing in yourself more. So the first one that I go to, and it usually is my number one that I go to, is to add more movement into my day. And of course this is going to look different for everybody. I do find that when I am down on myself, it's like one run away, or maybe practicing yoga, or getting up and getting outside and just taking in some fresh air. There's a way that, there's just, when we add more movement, it kind of helps us to reconnect with ourselves and to also move through physically what might be feeling hard, because when we are feeling down on ourselves, we feel that physically. And so adding more movement in a way that works for you is, I just invite you to try that on and see what might change for you. The next thing that I often look at is just my basic needs. Am I hydrated? I know we've talked about that before in a previous week, just the importance of staying hydrated and how, that can really affect our overall well-being and how we do feel. It can really affect how we feel emotionally. And then of course, getting enough rest. Sleep is so important, and just having that kind of real solid frame of mind, it's so much easier to get to that place and to put life in perspective in a really realistic way when we are well rested. So, just looking at our basic needs and adding more movement, I've found that those are real helpful ways to reconnect to my inner truth and to remember how important it is to believe in myself. Another strategy and tool that I like to go to and to use is to really be a mama bear of myself. And what I mean by this is to, be accountable for who I am, and to take care of myself with compassion and also with conviction, that that I am worthy of being here and being alive, and that, whatever challenge or obstacle might be, presented before us or in our way, that, that we do have a stake in the game and that we do have a say. And so sometimes just kind of approaching a situation or just reminding ourselves to kind of maybe take on that different role, and to take that kind of caregiver role of ourselves and that mama bear, to kind of be protective over ourselves and to not beat up on ourselves, because we can all fall into that trap of negative self-talk and beating up on ourselves. But when we approach it with like a mama bear, like nobody's going to talk to me that way, it does have a way of just, when we kind of let go of that negative self-talk, it just makes more room for something different to transpire and for us not to beat up on ourselves more. And then the final tip and strategy that I have to offer today is just, I like to call it just to be on the lookout. Our perspective is so huge, and our thoughts play such an important role in our experience and even in our relationship with ourselves. So, often it can be that one thing that we did or that we said that stands out to us as being just so awful, and that we can just sort of take ourselves down with, when there are 100 other reasons and evidence around us, whether that's in conversation with other people or, whatever that may be, really showing us our worth as a human being and showing us how amazing we are as we are, and that there is no need to change, and to give ourselves some compassion. Like, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to mess up, and that's okay. But to not use those mistakes and those mess ups as fuel to disconnect from ourselves or to not believe in ourselves. So just being on the lookout to really expand and look for that evidence of the good that you do. And as your worth as a human being, the fact that you're here right now, alive, is evidence that you're worthy of being here. And so just to come back to the basics, to those things, and to just expand and grow from there. They are really helpful tools in just remembering how important it is when we believe in ourselves. It really does transform the landscape and the experience of our lives, as opposed to when we're down on ourselves or when we question ourselves. Of course, it doesn't change what unfolds around us, but it does transform our experience that we do have as we move through life. So I just really, at the end of the day, my hope and wish for everybody and for myself is just to remember to, no matter what, to just believe in ourselves and to value who we are and to see ourselves for who we are. So I'll leave you with that. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Thank you.